my name is Vivian, and this is my training partner, Elsa. I am with Modern Hound Training and Behavior, as well as I have a dog walking business called Desert Dogs, and it's located in Kamloops. Um, Today, I wanted to talk a little bit about enrichment activities. This is something that comes up a lot when I'm working with you as an individual client. And today, just in the summer heat and unfortunately smoke, it's come up again because walks have to be canceled. And that can sort of leave us wondering, how do I diffuse my dog's energy um, when it's really not safe to go outside? And some places don't really have indoor facilities. So I wanted to talk about nose work. It is something that is fairly new to me in practice. I was really inspired to get started with my hound, Elsa. Elsa is a rescue hound, and she did have some anxiety issues, as often our rescues do. So nose work felt like a really great activity to get into with her to help with the decompression. And then I learned the additional benefits of it, of course, which is that that sort of enrichment activity is really requires energy from dogs in a different way when they have to use their nose. So really nice for us as the guardians of dogs to be able to use this as an activity when we're just not able to exercise our dogs physically. And it doesn't really have to be that complicated. So we can use stuff that we have around the house. One of the most simplest things is a box. Usually we have some type of box or container laying around. So I have this cardboard box, and what we want to do is start with the box open. Make sure when we're starting any training session with your dog that you have lots of their high value treats. So in your treat pouch or your pockets, have them readily accessible. So to get started here with introducing our dogs into checking the boxes, I'm just going to place a treat in this box and then place it on the ground. So Elsa's going to happily go get that treat. When she does, I'm just going to keep tossing some treats in there. So when you're treating your dog and you're not having as much exercise, sometimes we can use their kibble as well. Just if you're worried about the calories. So anyways, I'm going to keep throwing those treats. And when she's really showing a good understanding that she's going to check the box and it's going to provide her with a treat, I'll start to wait her out a little bit. Good girl. So she checked the box on her own. As soon as she dropped her nose in it, I gave her a treat. Yeah, good girl. Once they're really doing well with one box, we can start to introduce more boxes. So you might find you're going to have 3 boxes or 2 boxes, whatever you have accessible. And the same thing. So having treats in 2 or 3 boxes and encouraging your dog to check that. It becomes a really fun game. Then we can start mixing it up, and maybe it's 1 box out of the 3 that has treats, but they still have to check all the boxes. And sort of so on. So just kind of a bit of an introduction. Again, it can be in containers, but the idea is they're investigating, they're checking these things out, and it's providing a reward for them. So that's our box work. Now, dogs really do pick up on this easily. Dogs like to use their nose. So you may find you're starting to create some different puzzles with your boxes. You can start closing the container. So lots of fun stuff to do with that. The next thing that usually we have around the house is a muffin tin. So the muffin tin game is a fun nose work game. I'm using tennis balls to cover the tops of them. If you don't have tennis balls, or your dog is a little bit ball obsessed and it's just not a safe thing to do, use socks, like bunched up or rolled up socks, just to cover the tops of your tins. So you could start out with 3 balls of covering and then gradually build up to 6. So we want to introduce things slowly and really set our dogs up for success. So what I'm going to do here is I've got 3 balls. I'm going to place some treats at the bottom of this tin and then cover it with my tennis ball. Once I have my tin set, I'm going to introduce it to Elsa, and she has to problem solve about which muffin tin holds the treat. And so she'll either kind of nose it out of there. Sometimes they'll pick up the ball and move it off to the side to make sure they get everything. They can paw it out. She's going to do a little bit of both maybe. Pick it, there we go. Move the ball right out of the way. So when your dog's showing that they're fairly confident with this game, you can definitely add more challenges to it. It's kind of a fun, simple nose work game. The next thing that's I think most dog owners seem to have is Kongs. So Kongs are really durable rubber. They come in a variety of sizes. Elsa's getting into my fun box here of toys. So the Kongs are nice because we can pack them full of treats, and it really encourages them to use their nose and to lick and to investigate to get things out. So again, that sort of enrichment activity that's giving them something busy to do and is using sort of that mental energy that they have. So with the variety of sizes, you want to make sure that it's, of course, big enough for your dog that they're not going to swallow it. I will use a size up for my dog when I leave, so it's just a little bit bigger for her. And if I feel like Elsa needs something to do to keep her busy while I'm gone, or just help her with decompress, I use the bigger size. If you're supervising, again, just using your judgment with your dog, but I will go a size down. So this would probably be like her regular size, but the hole's a bit smaller. It's going to take her a bit longer to get the treats or the food out of that. Definitely with a medium-sized dog, I wouldn't go to the smallest one. We don't want the dogs to try to swallow or ingest the Kong. There's tons of good recipes online if you want to make your own homemade recipe, freeze the Kong, and that can really give them a lot of busy stuff to do. You could also use it as a way to feed them their dinner, so they really have to work for it. So Kongs are great busy toys. The other thing that I was going to show today is the lotus ball. So you'll see this a lot in agility training. Usually trainers really recommend getting the agility ball. It's a great way to create drive. There's a loop at the bottom there. You can clip on a leash or a rope and drag it. It's Velcroed, so at the bottom you can place some food. So that's really encouraging that drive and that chase game. Some people will also throw it over the obstacle or the end of the obstacle to encourage drive because the treat's at the bottom. I use this in a different way for Elsa. So again, being a dog that has some anxiety, I notice that, especially on the sidelines, I want to give her something to do. So I will use the lotus ball as a way for her to decompress, to use her nose. Again, this is a supervised activity, so I won't just leave her with this lotus ball. It is stuffed, and she will most definitely destroy it. And they're a little bit expensive. So we'll place the food right at the bottom. It's a little bit hard to see maybe, but it's there. I'll close the lotus ball up. So if I'm in a barn, I tend to just hold it. If you have a clean surface, you can bring that onto the ground. She is going to investigate, pull it apart at the Velcro, and find the treats at the bottom. So it's just sort of a little nose work activity that's quick and rewarding. So those are a few of the things that I always did have in my closet, so to speak, of what I would use for nose work enrichment activities for dogs. I'm going to do a few little videos and clips about other enrichment activities, but I wanted to start with nose work because this has come up a bit in my training sessions with you lately. So that is Nose Work 101.